Welcome to Fullerton House and to our P1 Parents virtual induction meeting. Normally I would do this face to face with you, but because of the current circumstances that's unfortunately not possible this year. The point of this is just to give you a little bit of information about your child starting P1. I'm going to split it into three parts. We're going to talk about what your child will learn in P1. We're going to talk about how you can prepare your child at home for starting P1, and we're going to talk a little bit about practical arrangements for uniform and other essentials as well. We're hoping to meet with you towards the end of August, have a morning when you can come in with your children and meet me before the school year starts. We are still very hopeful that we'll be able to start our school year on the 25th of August. And because the P1 class for next year is quite small, we're hoping we'll be able to have all the children in together. If after watching this presentation you would like some more information or you would like to speak to me, you can contact me through the school telephone number of 90205217, or you can email me at rwatsonp1@yahoo.com and I'll get back to you promptly. P1 and P2 in Northern Ireland are referred to as the foundation stage. The foundation stage curriculum is split into 7 areas of learning: language and literacy, mathematics and numeracy, the world around us, which takes account of science, history and geography, physical development and movement, the arts, PDMU, which is personal development and mutual understanding, and RE, or religious education. Overarching these 7 areas of learning are 3 cross-curricular themes: using mathematics, using ICT and communication. We deliver this curriculum largely through play activities. These are very structured and they build on what your child already knows. We will observe your child and make observational assessments of where they are in their learning, and from that we will develop our play so that we're stretching your child. As well as that, every day we will have formal lessons in phonics, which are letter sounds, reading and writing and mathematics, as well as having a topic that is very child-centred. We usually focus on things like the seasons and celebrations and things your child will already have experienced. These topics are flexible and will take into account anything that the children want to know or their own interests. We begin teaching reading quite early in P1. We start off by looking at phonics, which are the sounds that letters make, and what are known as sight words, which are words that can't be sounded out using phonics and have to be taught using little flashcards by sight. We will ask you very early on in the term to send in a small plastic box to keep these words in, and they'll come home every night for you to practice at home. Your child will also get a book which is known as a wordless book. This is a very important stage of reading, and it's about telling a story and understanding how a story works. So your child will get books like this home. They have no text in them, but if you would encourage your child to go through, tell you the story, use full sentences, and you can talk about the story together. When your child has learnt some phonics and some keywords, they will begin to read books with text in them. The text is repetitive and has a mixture of words that can be sounded out using their phonics, like is, it, and words like who that they will need to know by sight. By the end of P1, they'll be reading books with full sentences using a range of skills. By the end of the year, your child will have a good group of words they know by sight and a good understanding of all the letters in the alphabet. Practice is the key with reading, and we would ask you to read with your child and do their reading homework with them every night, to read them bedtime stories, which are essential, and they'll get a book home from the school library every Friday, which we would encourage you to read and talk about with your child as well. I'm going to talk you through the daily structure of the P1 day. When your child comes in the morning, they have what's known as a morning job to do at their table. It's not really a job, it's just a little task to practice their literacy or their numeracy or their fine motor skills, which are their ability to cut and building up their writing skills. So they'll go to their desk first thing in the morning to do that little job. After we've done that, we will have a formal phonics session on our sounds before we go outside for outdoor play. We have a lovely outdoor playground which we're developing at the moment, and every day we take the children out there. I will put out certain equipment that I want the children to play with and experiment with, and the play there is very much child initiated, and we explore what the children want to explore. We play alongside them and ask questions to further their learning. After we come inside from outdoor play, we will wash our hands and have our snack time. We would ask you to send a snack with your child every day for break time. You may want to put it in a separate little bag or lunch box so that your child knows exactly where to get it from, and we eat that all together in the classroom. After that, we go outside again for some play with the P2 and P3 children for break time. When we come back in from break, we have a formal literacy and numeracy lesson. We will teach our reading at that time, and we will teach early mathematics. After that, it will be lunchtime. Traditionally, we have two options for lunch. You can have a canteen dinner in the school canteen, or you can send your child with a packed lunch. I'll give you more information about that nearer the time. After that, they have more playground time, and when we come back in and we do some more work in the afternoon, we may work on our topic, we may work on some RE, religious education, or some PDMU, which is personal development and mutual understanding. We also have 3 specialist teachers in the school, and they'll have lessons with them spread throughout the week. Mrs. Gray teaches PE in the gym once a week. Mrs. Allen teaches performing arts twice a week and takes the children for hymn practice. And Madame Christie is our French specialist. Your child usually would start having French following the Halloween holiday in November. Obviously, with current arrangements, we may need to review this. Mrs. Crichton, the P1 classroom assistant, and myself will be observing and assessing your children. If we discover your child is having a little bit of difficulty with something, we will let you know. We have a very good parent-teacher communication usually, and it is the key to your child doing as well as they can in P1. If your child is struggling a bit, I may give them a little bit of extra help in class or send something home for you to do at home. It's not serious and it's part of everybody's learning. We all have strengths and weaknesses. If your child is finding school challenging, we may bring in the expertise of our Special Educational Needs Coordinator, Mrs. Shanks. Mrs. Shanks has lots of resources, lots of expertise, and the ability to access agencies outside of school if that is required. We may work together with you to develop an IEP or an individual education plan for your child if that's necessary. If you have had access in the past to services such as speech and language therapists, it's really useful if you let me know that early on so that I can contact them and we can work together so that we're giving your child the best learning experience possible. The disadvantage of doing an induction meeting this way is there's no opportunity for you to ask me questions. So what I'm going to do now is to answer 2 of the most common questions I usually get at this meeting. The first most common question is, what can I do to help my child get ready for P1? You will be receiving a booklet in the post very shortly, which will give you lots more detail on these kind of things and what you can be doing at home to get your child ready for the P1 environment. What I would say in the current environment is that you make sure your child can toilet independently, that they know how to wash their hands thoroughly and dry them, and they know how to use a tissue and dispose of it properly. My second top tip would be to be playing games with your child, particularly board games. Because they will have lost out on some of their preschool education, things like taking turns, waiting, being a good winner and a good loser, all those skills which are built up in the preschool year, it's really important that those are kept going to give your child a really good start and so that they're ready for P1. There's a lot of big feelings in winning and losing games, and it's really important that children are aware how to manage those. Another top tip would be to teach your child how to put on their own shoes and their own coat and take them off again. It gives them a great feeling of achievement if they can do those things by themselves. Of course we will help in any way we can, but it's nice if the children are able to do those kind of things independently, and it means we can move smoothly from outdoor play to coming back into the classroom. My last top tip would be that you talk a lot at home, you share stories and you share rhymes. Rhymes are a really, really good learning tool. So things like nursery rhymes or books by Julia Donaldson are really good for setting your child up for that first stage of phonics and hearing sounds and recognising the relationships between sounds. I will hopefully record a story that I can send out to your children as well. They can listen to me reading to them before they start school. The second most common question I'm asked is, what do I need to buy for my child coming into P1? The most important thing you have to buy is the school uniform. Our main supplier for this is Warnock's on the Lisburn Road, and we would ask you that you go to them for your blazer, your school jumper, your tunic for little girls and your shorts for boys. We do take real pride in our uniform and we like to have uniformity, for want of a better word. So please, if you get your main pieces of uniform from Warnock's when they reopen. We also have our own supplier in school, Donna Armstrong, who supplies us with our outer coat and a little neck warmer and hats and things like that, and you will be given more information at the start of term about how you can buy those things from her. Other things like shirts and shoes you can buy anywhere. Marks and Spencer's is usually quite good for bargains in the summer. What I would ask is that you name everything. When everybody is wearing identical items of clothing, it is really, really important that you have a name on everything. And if your child struggles to read their own name, a little picture or something that they will recognise is really useful. Normally we would be asking you to buy a brown leather satchel school bag. However, this year we have changed and moved away from the brown leather school bag, and for the first time we're asking our P1s this year to buy a brand new Fullerton housebook bag. These will be available in Warnocks, and you can get one for your child there, and there's a space in the back just to write their name so that we know whose is whose. Apart from that, there's not very much else that you will need. We provide all stationery and books and things like that in school for P1. You will need a lunchbox, and sometimes 2 lunchboxes is easier if they're having both a break and a lunch, so they don't need everything at 10:15. You will also need a small box for your words, a pair of black gym shoes, and a cycle helmet. We ask each child to have their own cycle helmet so that it fits properly, and there's no restriction on design. So if your child has a favourite cartoon character or something like that, that's absolutely perfect. And once you've bought those things, you're all set. Thank you very much for listening. It's been lovely to chat to you all, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and your child well in September. Thank you.